On this episode, we sit down with Isaac Hetzroni, the founder and CEO of Imprint Genius. Imprint Genius is an online branding merchandise management platform that takes the pain out of swag management. Today, we'll learn how Isaac pinpointed a problem in the market, how he stands out from his competitors, and how branded merchandise is a must for your company, small and large.
Welcome. Thanks for coming on. We're super excited to have you on. So we heard a little bit there about Imprint Genius, merchandising, branded merchandise. Tell us, why do companies small and large need branded merchandise?
Well, thanks for having me on here.
Yep.
So the thing is that every company should be branding themselves. That's no debate. It's a big part of your company culture. It's a big part of just who you are in your marketplace. But the biggest thing is just doing it right. I feel like a lot of the companies are buying either the wrong kinds of products or over purchasing or not using merchandise.
Getting where you have like 1,000 t-shirts of one size and you never can use it for something.
It's thrown into that closet that you like try not to look at because it's overflowing.
Yeah.
You got it. It's an age-old industry, and there was a lot of problems with how it was built. And we're trying to, change that and make things more effective and also more sustainable.
Perfect.
Awesome. So in that intro, we heard that you pinpointed a specific problem in the merchandise industry. So what is that problem? And then how can people try to avoid a problem happening to them?
Yeah, the biggest problem is over purchasing and purchasing the wrong things. So think about when you get a gift from someone. Like for the most part, like half the time you're like, yeah, this is cool. Like,
thanks.
Thanks, exactly. Like, honestly, like
I needed another candle.
You got it. Whether it be at Christmas or at a trade show. Like, think about the last, I know it's been a while since we've done a trade show, but the last event you went to, you probably got a whole bag of swag and then brought back to your hotel room and then threw the entire thing out or just left it there.
Yeah, like I used that one pen. I'll probably use that for a bit, but I'm not using the mug because I've already got a million mugs and I'm not using the sticker.
Exactly. I think that society as a whole is trying to move towards like a more, higher end approach. And they want to it's not about just like the cheap pen. You want to get like a nice pen that's, it's going to last you kind of thing. But the thing is that everyone wants different things. So I think it's always been very hard in the past to figure out exactly what people want. So marketers go and they rip their hair out trying to figure out, okay, what's going to be our cool swag item, right, for this trade show. And then they really hope that everyone's going to like it. And then they end up, flopping or doing well. But really there's a lot more, technology that you can implement to, take away that worry.
I love that. And what would you say is one of your favorite items that one of your favorite branded merchandise items? If you had to pick one.
Ooh. I love we have like a little selfie drone. So It has like a 720p camera.
That's cool.
It has like a full color imprint. But it's all about like everyone has a different thing. I like crazy unique items. Some people are really into hats. Some people really want into high-end jackets, whatever it is. But I think that currently the space hasn't given enough opportunity to people like to have the option to pick really cool, unique items, because it's scary for a brand to go and say, okay, we're going to buy 1,000 drones this year.
Yeah.
Who's going to do
Is that going to be useful? Am I going to get return on investment? So then how do people then avoid just buying the wrong stuff?
Yeah. So I would say the first thing is go quality over quantity.
Okay.
Low quality items, first off, are going to reflect on your brand. If you're going to go and put your, you're this high-end brand and you're putting it on a $2 water bottle. How is that associated with who you are?
Yeah.
And
it's going in the trash real quick.
It's going in the trash real quick. That's pretty much a disposable water bottle at that point.
Yeah.
And so doing that, and then trying to use different pieces of technology that let people actually pick the merchandise they want instead of you assuming what they want.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we were talking a little bit about this pre-recording, and I had no idea about this, but maybe just so people can get a good idea of what that looks like. Tell us a little bit about that online swag management and how that works for companies.
Yeah, so here's the ultimate issue. So in the past, if you wanted people to be able to pick whatever merchandise they wanted, you'd have to go and buy hundreds of all these different
And
products.
open up your own store.
Exactly. And so some companies were literally building stores within their offices, right? If they're big enough. Some people were building entire swag closets, and then they were trying to like jerry-rig stores up together. And then you were having a marketing director or marketing assistant going and becoming a little fulfillment center within
Yeah,
their office.
fun.
Right? Super fun
And
stuff.
before you know it, 20 hours of someone's job is just managing the hats and the shirts and
closet.
the cups and the pins.
you would be surprised how many people, like large companies, have full-time people just doing that.
I think people listening now are like, "That's me. That's our
Yeah.
company.
Yeah.
We do that."
Especially right now, because we're in this, COVID world where everyone's moving remote, and that's something that's going to stay. So what do you do now when you have all these different people that are moving remote, and you have to still distribute merchandise to them? So it's really becoming a reality for a lot of people. It's like their job is just to mail out merchandise. So to bring it back, the old way of doing it, you'd have to go and spend $100,000+ to get like a good variety of products, pay for all the inventory fees, and then what happens? Well, then you do a rebrand because marketing says, go do a rebrand, and then you have to
Change one thing on the logo,
One
and then every shirt that you have is trash.
trash, and then you have to go and buy another $100,000 worth of inventory. They'll now restock with the new, right? So that was kind of how things were always built in the past.
Okay.
Because you had to buy, in bulk. But now with print-on-demand technology and that really improving and different supply chain solutions, you can actually build out, a merchandise site with hundreds or thousands of options, all without having the inventory. So it's that big kind of crossover in the last couple of years of the economies of scale getting there within print-on-demand that lets you go and put up all these products. And there's tons of different like Shopify plugins that kind of let you do that. Obviously we have a solution as well. But when you can then go and have hundreds of items on a site, all with your logo on it, first off, it looks really cool. Like,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, like any company, like any CEO, you're going to want...
It's sexy. It looks good.
You want to have a cool site with like a bunch of stuff on it, like drones and backpacks. Like it just feels good, like from a company morale
I've
perspective.
never heard of people doing drones as or selfie cameras, like you were saying, that fly. Like, that's really cool. And now I want one.
Yeah, exactly. It's just fun.
And that's a piece of merchandise I would keep and I'd use.
There we go. Okay, well, appreciate it. But yeah, so then now you have this massive site up there. And then instead of going and assuming what people want, because that's the biggest problem. You're assuming that someone wants that hat, or you're going to assume that someone wants that pen. But for the most part, they don't. But if you let them pick from all these different items, right? And you don't have to worry about the inventory. Now you have this like really easy solution to let people actually get the product they want. And then let's bring it back to what is merchandise all about. It's about getting your customers, your employees to rock your brand and feel appreciated wearing it. And if they get to pick the exact item they want, then they're gonna wear it, and then they're gonna use it, and then other people are gonna see the brand. And it's the whole point of merchandise. It's gotten kind of drowned out in the last,
It's like you mentioned hats. It's like it's really, excuse me, it's really useful for your brand. If someone who wears hats all the time and would wear it, it's totally worth it to buy them a hat. It's totally worth the cost.
Yeah.
But it wouldn't be worth it if you were to give out 100 hats, 1,000 hats, and only one person is actually the one that likes to wear it. So then the idea of, well, only give a hat to someone if they're actually going to wear the thing. Like, what a concept.
Yeah.
But it's been tough. Like people haven't been able to figure out the solution for it, and then a lot of people just look at physical merchandise as like it's an extra spend.
It's an expense.
We don't know where it's gonna go to. We don't know how it's gonna change. But if you want to look at it like how important physical gifting is right now, in my opinion. So you had, for example, remember when you don't remember, but we don't. But email came out, right? And everyone was like, "Wow! Like I got an email. This is so cool." And then it was cooler than getting a physical letter in the mail.
Yeah.
And then now you get a letter in the mail, and you're like, "Wow! I got a letter in the mail."
I literally got a letter in the mail from somebody thanking me for something the other day. I was mind blown. Like I immediately went and I called him. I was like, "This was so cool. Thanks."
Exactly. So I think that same thing is happening with marketing, right? So now banner ads and digital advertising, while it's super effective and trackable from a return on investment standpoint, it's becoming, kind of like it's not as effective because people are. But if you get a physical gift in the mail, that's the same thing as like getting a leather. And I think that as technology continues to grow, the value of that physical touch and that physical product is only going to increase.
I think that's really cool.
So kind of taking a sidestep here on this, it sounds like you've really pinpointed the consumer's problem, the target audience that you're trying to help. You've pinpointed their problem, but I think was that the direction you were heading since the beginning, or how did it start? Like, what were you trying to go at initially? Were there pivots that occurred? If so, like, how did that happen? Because I think a lot of people listen and they're like, "Oh, wow, that's really smart." But I think they can really appreciate it if they see like where it started. Maybe it did start like that. How did it get to what it is today?
Yeah, no, that I mean, I get that question a lot. So we actually started off with we started selling like little gadgets and products. Originally, I thought the big problem with you go to the trade show, you get a bunch of swag, and you throw it all away. The problem was the items sucked, and they did. Right, a lot of the products were really boring. So I decided to create a company that was only focused on selling the coolest, most unique, products. And we were selling custom plasma lighters and drones and voice-activated robots and just the coolest, most unique items. And we were getting good traction. That's how we kind of grew the company for the first few years. It was just like we're like your non-traditional promo company. We're going to sell you the craziest stuff and that people are going to love and keep and use and talk about. And while that was effective, what we really realized over time is that there were some much larger issues at play and deep-rooted problems within how promotional items are distributed. Yep. That was the real way to get trackable return on investment with marketing and make it into an effective area.
And sorry to interrupt, but how did you like really find out? Was it just hearing from your clients like that was their issue they were experiencing, or like did you do some market research? How did that get discovered?
It was just being in the industry for so long and seeing the effectiveness of a large scale merch store at hand and like proper mailer campaigns, but then also coupling that with saying, oh my God, well, if you can have the effectiveness as a $250,000 swag store with absolutely no inventory, then this becomes a no brainer, right? The costs start to even out. Yep. Like making one polo versus making 100 polos wasn't that far off. And then what if we can create a proper system around that?
Okay, awesome. Love that. So building a business is something that you've done, and then I think mostly everybody, some aren't, but most are trying to build their business. Branded merchandise. What percentage of growth would you attribute to branded merchandise for people? Like how much does it play into a company culture? How much does it play into landing new clients? Like what would you say to people that say, oh, like I have better things to be doing? Like why branded merchandise?
And what types of businesses benefit most from it too?
So I would say that businesses who don't have physical product are probably the biggest ones, because especially when you're doing, you can associate, that Apple with, their laptops and their iPhones, right? And they have the physical product. And when they go to trade shows and events and they talk to people, they have something to show, right? Yep. But you need, I think, when you're more of like a software company or a service-based company, you want to be able to really have physical product that people can connect to. So I think those type of businesses are going to be the ones that are going to really need physical merchandise. And why it's effective for company culture, it's just, especially now everyone's remote, like you need that physical touch. You want people to be, wearing it and repping it. You feel truly connected with the brand, whether you're an employee or you're a customer. And then just gifting. Like who doesn't love gifting? Like that's kind of what the best part about our business is.
That's why people love Christmas and holidays of that sort. Is just like giving gifts. Giving gifts feels great. Receiving gifts feels great. I mean, you can't go wrong with gift giving.
Exactly. The problem was it was just before, it was just way too hard to coordinate all of it, and do it properly. Mm-hmm. So I'm happy that technology is getting there where it's getting easy.
So then how would you answer the person who's asking the question, okay, well then the way we've always done merchandise is I buy it in bulk because that's how we get it cheap. And then I have to store it in my office or store it in my closet or open up a whole other building just for my merch stuff. And that's the better route because I get it so much in bulk. Then how do you compare that to whenever someone has a service where they can do it like per order? Because I think a lot of people would think, well, that's probably like 10 times more expensive. So how do the numbers end up, not exact price points, but you're obviously educated in this space. how is that then better than buying everything in bulk? How do the numbers end up working out for most people?
Yeah, I mean, I think that the larger the organization is, the more effective it's going to be to have like a proper solution like this, right? If you're a 5-employee company, then it's probably fine to have some closet stock, like just being honest, right?
Yeah.
But we can go through a easy example. So you are ordering T-shirts for 100 people, right? So you're going to go and have to go and reach out to all the 100 people, trying to get their sizes and try to get their preferences.
I do not want that job.
Yeah, it's awkward and it's a lot of work.
I already don't like sending emails, but sending 100 emails asking about people's style and the shirt size.
Yeah.
I also don't want to ask a lady her shirt size personally.
Yeah. Again, agreed. So you have to order 100 shirts for like these 100 people.
Yeah.
Well, now you're gonna maybe only 75 of them actually told you their size. 25 just aren't answering because they just don't care enough.
Yeah.
So now you're gonna end up ordering maybe 120 shirts. Just because you want to get
Because you can't leave somebody out. You want to make sure you have plenty.
You want to make sure you have the right sizes because you're not sure of the size breakdown. Meanwhile, only like 70 people actually cared for the shirt, right? They not, like maybe it was like a necessary shirt. Just people just I don't even want it, right?
Yeah.
So now you're from 100 shirt, planning. You're ordering 120 shirts, but only 70 people actually want the shirts. So now you have a 50 shirt overage that you're essentially spending on. When you're doing on-demand printing,
You're almost buying double the number of shirts in this scenario than what actually got used by someone.
Exactly, or what people actually care for. So,
Yeah.
so now, if your cost to do it on demand is roughly 20% more, but you now are spending, you're buying twice the amount of shirts. Not only is it like horrible for the environment, like it's all in the trash. It's extra inventory that you have to manage. You now have to go and collect everyone's sizes. You have to do all the distribution. It's like there's so much that goes into it versus try out new technology that's out there. And that entire process that I just got explained would literally be done within 3 minutes of
Yeah, so it's a massive time saving. And although it is technically speaking more expensive on a per item basis, if you look at it for how many extra items you buy, if you're looking to buy them all in bulk, and all the time that you got to then spend, and if you're the business owner and you're the one doing it, you're paying somebody else's time, 10 hours in that week dedicated just to getting freaking shirts to people.
Exactly.
It all makes a lot more sense.
Yeah, no one here. Again, we're a shirt company. Like we're a fulfillment distribution company. Like other companies don't do that. Stop doing it.
Yeah.
Focus on what you're good at. That's kind of the thing.
That's cool.
I think small business owners and marketers at small companies right now might be checking out a tad bit here, but I think there's a lot to learn just in general about brand and merchandise, and I think it's definitely good to know like there's different solutions to different problems, and it doesn't always have to be done the way it's always been done. I think if a lot of business owners can just hear that and say, this is how I do it in my industry. This is how I market it in my industry. This is what I say I solve. This is the problem I solve. But I think one good lesson to learn from Imprint Genius is take a step back. What is being done in your industry that's like, this makes zero common sense. It doesn't make sense to have this inventory stored and have somebody in charge of doing it. Like, let's figure out a better way. And I think a lot of small businesses take a step back, whether it be your marketing, whether it be your processes, whatever it may be. I think there's a great lesson to learn in there of just take a step back. It doesn't always have to be done the way that it's always been done.
That's really great, man.
Yeah, I agree with that completely.
Awesome. Well, I can't say anymore. I mean, I didn't know too much about brand and merchandise. I mean, I wear a shirt. I didn't know too much past there, and I just know trade shows. I go to trade shows. I'm like, I don't enjoy this highlighter or whatever it is that I get. I wish there was a more personalized approach to it. So I definitely love that. But where can people find out more about you?
Yeah, you can follow us on Instagram at Imprint Genius. Check us out at imprintgenius.com or follow me on Instagram at Isaac Hetz. So yeah, thanks,
awesome,
guys.
Thanks so much.
Hey guys, I'm Jason. I'm the producer of the Short Marketing Show. Do you know someone who make a great guest on our show? Or hey, it might even be you. Go ahead and send us an email at info@shortmediagroup.com, and you or your pick might just be selected to be a guest on our show. And now, guys, if you enjoyed this episode and you learned something, then we would like to formally invite you to our Facebook group community, Gainesville Business Marketing. Guys, we created this group to be an asset to business owners and everyday marketers to talk about marketing and talk about your struggles. So be sure to join our Facebook group, Gainesville Business Marketing, and tune in next time to hear Justin and Blaine dive into yet another marketing experience with a local expert.